everybody, and welcome to our presentation. I'm going to have a couple of our top agents and more experienced people come in as a panel for a couple of reasons. One, we're on a seminar Zoom, which means I'm just looking at myself and not anybody else. So we are going to bring in Krista Proctor, Mary Kay, and we're going to bring in Bill Mumar, Mark, and just as we are getting going, that if they want to provide some professional feedback, that they'll be able to do that. And so we're going to be inviting them in as we go. And there's Mary Kay. Welcome, Mary Kay. You're going to be on our panel. You look great. There's Bill. Here's Krista. Wonderful. Thank you for participating. I know I gave you a lot of notice, but welcome to be here and thanks for participating. And if you have to jump off, don't feel any pressure to stay. Okay, we are going to go through a listing presentation that I put together. This presentation is something that I think is going to be highly effective when you're able to deliver it. It is going to be compelling to get people to move forward, to sign right away with you. It's going to give them a high degree of comfort to move forward. And we've got Jennifer Mabin also with us. Thank you, Jennifer, for being in here. So with our panelists, if there's anything that you guys feel like would be worthwhile to share, good, bad, or indifferent, I welcome you to pop on to the process. The buyer presentation that I put together has the same bones as the listing presentation we have had since our teaching that we gave a couple of months ago. Tremendous feedback on that particular presentation. People love it. It's a great way to get on the same side of the table as your clients. And to really align you with your clients. So I'm just going to dive into this thing and then we'll go from there. There are some really neat marketing opportunities with this to help us get more listings as well. And I'm going to dive into that as we go. So as we go through this presentation for buyers, I'm going to talk about how the slide is delivered. And then I'm going to talk around different reasons in the philosophy on the slide. So I'm going to get going here. Okay. So we use in our model, Gavin Bree as our model, longtime Fusion friend and client and employee. Now, again, we are on seminar Zoom, which is just a little different and is not as comfortable for me to deliver on. I'm still kind of feeling my way around it a little bit, so please forgive me on that. So I'm hoping that everybody can see the Gavin Bree title page. Okay, so this starts off with an affirmation. When you're talking with your buyers, mission possible, the best house possible for the best price possible. This is something everybody wants universally. And this is what we want to say, mission possible, best house possible with the combination for the best price possible. So, as in the listing presentation that we've talked about, that has been so effective for me for so many years, that I would sit down and say, you know, when I started in real estate, when I had an epiphany that I wanted to be the best agent I possibly could, I started thinking, well, how do you become the best agent that you could? And so that led me to this other thought, well, it's really my clients that are going to determine if I'm the best agent possible. It's not me. And so I have to put myself on the other side of the table. I have to put myself on that side of the kitchen table, which I'm not there right now. But if I was, what would I want from an agent who is representing me as a buyer's agent? What would I want? And so I thought about it and I came up with a couple of things. Number one, I want an agent who had a proven track record of success so that I know that I'm in good hands. Now, for Fusion Growth Partners people, everybody here has a track record. Otherwise, you would not be here. And so we know that that fits for everybody. Now, back into my role play. I would also want an agent that helps me get the best price possible, the best house possible for the best price possible. An agent that will expertly protect me from costly oversights in agreements and make sure that I'm not being taken advantage of. Everybody here knows that the market without protection, man, people could really be taken advantage of. And this is so important that agents are protecting their clients. If I was going to hire a buyer's agent, I would want an agent that had an amazing team and support with a significant network that I could leverage. I would want an agent who makes sure that all the little things are done during escrow to ensure the deal closes without significant issues so that I don't have to do it. I don't have to worry about it. And then I would want an agent that is there after the sale to help with issues or processes. And an agent that's going to charge me a fair price. And finally, I don't want to be stuck in a contract if that agent isn't performing for me. So I'm just going to talk about the philosophies here. A lot of people, when you're talking in a listing agreement, people don't want to bring up commission. They don't want to talk about price. They don't want to bring up those things. And so when we dive into this right away and we say, I want what you want. I want a fair price. I want to be taken care of. I want people who are going to follow through on what it is that they say they do. You're bonding with them. And so the way that this slide goes is you say, I want an agent, and you list out these 8 things. And then you say, so this is me. This is James Becker. This is what I would want. And then I look to Krista, my client, I say, Krista, is there anything beyond this that you would want? And in most cases, they're going to say that pretty much wraps it up. Right? I don't know if there's something that the panel would think that someone would bring up that would be important. We might put it in there if there is. But most of them are going to say, no, that's pretty much what I want. When that happens, you have just sealed a bond with this client. You have brought up the stuff that nobody wants to talk about it. You've put it on the table and they go, yes, you and I think alike. It is incredibly powerful. Then we move on to the next slide. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the details of these things. So I want an agent who can get me the best price possible for the best price, and this is how I do it. First thing is I'm going to enhance your desirability to potential sellers as a buyer before we're in that particular situation so that we can strike when the iron is hot. We're going to help get your finances in order, and I'm going to provide a couple of referrals of amazing local brokers. This is very important. Local known brokers that are known by the selling agents out there so that they can trust that this is a legitimate pre-approval letter. This is a critical piece. So I'm going to help you put all of those things together. Then I am going to really work on building your real estate contract and market knowledge again so that you can strike quickly and with confidence. So one of the things that's very important in our buyers, and I'm going to do a seminar next month on actually the interactions with the buyer. I'm just focusing on the presentation today, how to get them into the appointment, how to get them to make decisions on writing an offer, how to get them to write good offers. But this is just the presentation. But philosophically speaking, we know this is a NAR statistic, and also what I have experienced is people write offers after they've seen 12 homes. That's the number. And why is that? It's because they want to see enough on the marketplace to have an idea of what the true value is of the market. And so as an agent, you're going to give them a copy of a contract. You're going to circle the most important things that are on that contract. You're going to explain it. You don't want to explain it when they're stressing about the price. You want to already deal with the contract issues before they were talking about the price. Okay? And so what we're going to do is that we have to get rid of any uncomfortable feelings, because again, if there's a great deal, even in markets that are softening, there are multiple offers. So you have to be prepared to do that. So therefore, I'm going to spend a significant amount of time. I'm going to suggest that you say on Saturday, we're going to spend 4 or 5 hours and we're just going to look at everything on the market. We're going to go out, we're going to look at the different neighborhoods, we're going to look inside the houses, we're going to drive by stuff that's pending, we're going to drive by stuff that's already sold in the last 3 months, and you're going to get a sense of what that market is. Now, you may think like, oh my gosh, that's like a lot of work. Not really. It's going to shorten your sales cycle significantly. This is what we did before we had these contracts. Me and my partner, Lewis, the first thing we did is we knew we wanted to have them see 12 homes as quickly as possible. Because as soon as we did that, the next day they were ready to write offers. You have to accomplish this. So now we're just doing it strategically. Hey, we want you to know what's on the market, what's pending, what's sold. We can drive by the shopping markets if you don't know the neighborhood or whatever the case may be, or the schools, and then we'll go through that agreement. Now, I want you to imagine, don't look at this as being a real estate agent. Look at this as someone who doesn't know real estate, and you're talking to one of these fabulous agents that are on our panel. When they start talking about this, are you starting to get a sense of comfortability to work with them? Because we're going to ask them to marry us in a contract at the end of this, right? Okay. On MLS listings, on public listings, speed to listing is critical. My partner, Lewis, is exceptionally good at this. We get somebody, they've already looked at all of the houses, something new comes on the market, which creates an incentive. And instead of you as the buyer having to go through all the MLS stuff, which I think is a horror, we just put people on a drip and wait for us to call us, which is ridiculous. We're not going to be doing that. Not our Fusion people. We are going to be watching this. We're going to be looking every couple hours on MLS. And when there's a hot listing that this could be the one, it's like beepers going off, the alarm's going off. Like, we've got to get into this being one of the very first buyers in. Now, on the stuff that's not so exciting, we'll email you. But if this could be the one, we're going to text you, we're going to email you, we're going to call you, we're going to send up smoke signals. We're going to make sure you are aware of it. Because what happens a lot of times, agents just send out emails, you don't look for 48 hours, and guess what? It's too late. We're not going to let that happen to you. If this could be the one, we're going to get you into that house, front of the line. We are committed to that process. We will arrange showings that day if you desire. Now, let's step back from this pitch here for a second. What this means is you're going to need to have someone who can show homes for you if you're not available. So if you're in a larger office, like I know Mary Kay is, and there may be some people who don't have a lot of income coming in, she could set up 3 or 4 backup people and pay 25, 50 bucks a house that they show if they can't be there. So you have to come up with some strategies so that you can actually deliver on this. Because if you have 3 buyers, and what's going to happen, this is going to work. You're going to get a group of buyers that you're working with. You'll not be able to show all of them at the same time. You're going to have to get some assistance, not for them to write the offers, not a buyer's agent, only someone to open that door for you. If you have a buyer's agent, you're giving away 75% of your commission. That's ridiculous for opening doors. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got backup for them. So we will get you in that house. Speed the listing. Good listing, speed the listing. We will get you, and we're going to let you know that it's in, and then we're going to get you into that house. And I've got backup plans for that. Once we've seen the home, we'll try and get it off the market by determining if the seller is ready to take an offer. And again, this is something Lewis did all the time, and good agents should be doing. Should call up and I know that Jennifer does this. Hey, you got this brand new listing. I got something ready to buy. Is there a price you take right now that would take it off the market right now? Can you ask your sellers? Would a full price take it off the market right now? Now, this is a strategy with your buyers. They may not want to go full price, but if there's a hot listing, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 of these types of conversations, you can take it off the market. How many agents are actually doing that? Very, very few, except this type of group that we have here on our panel. Okay, moving forward. Now, this is what I'm really excited about on this. If Krista becomes my client, I am going to market to people in my database for private sales. I have my own sphere of influence that I'm going to market to. I'm going to pull up everybody that was trying to sell a home that is an expired listing, and I'm going to send them a letter that says I have a buyer for a private sale. And I'll show you that letter in a minute, which is going to generate listings for you. So now what I'm thinking about is these buyer contracts. It used to be that listings would get you buyers, right? Well, now buyers are going to get you listings, and the listings are going to get your buyers. If this is approved by the courts, fingers crossed that that happens, man, this is going to be really good for the people that are out there. So you're going to say, look, I got a database. You don't tell them it's MLS. I got a database of everybody who tried to sell a home last year and didn't sell. They may be more motivated now. Okay, I got 500 people in my sphere of influence. I'm going to get some letters out to them. And then I'm going to go into the tax rolls, into the areas that you really want. And I'm going to send direct letters to them for private sales. Why is this important? Because if they say yes, there's less demand on offers. It gives us more time to negotiate potentially a better price in a private sale. Now, people used to say, oh, everyone wants to do private sales, blah, blah, blah. And I used to say, that's insane. You want to open it up to the market as much as you can. That's going to drive price. You'll have more demand. The more people that know about it, the more demand. However, now I'm exclusively representing a buyer. My buyer is now my fiduciary, where it used to not be that way in California, at least. The way it used to be is you had a fiduciary duty to the seller and an ethical duty of trustworthiness to the buyer, but it was not a fiduciary. It will now be a fiduciary to that buyer. And so you're marketing that buyer to these sellers. And again, we may not be able to make a deal, but we're going to have people say, yes, I'm thinking about selling. If you can't put together a deal there, do you have a listing lead? a really strong one. And guess what? You're sitting at the kitchen table with these people. This is significant. Okay. So we market your profile. Now, I don't have an example of this, but we do just listings and just sold. Well, now we're going to have social media things that says, buyer alert, I got a new buyer. And they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Their price range is between 400 and 500,000. They want to be in a quiet neighborhood, really general. If you have this sale, we can do a private sale for you. So we're going to take the open door marketing process of making it super easy. They don't have to fix it up. They could sell it as is, yada, 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 and sell it to a buyer without having to go through open houses and all that stuff. And they can get full price. Open Door charges them a fee of like 7%. It's insane. Did you guys know that? They don't charge commissions, but they charge you 7% fee. It's bananas. Okay. So we are going to market those buyers. So now in your social media feeds, we'll have buyer alert. So we'll have forms for you to go in and put in that buyer alert once you get that contract. Okay. And once you get that contract, we'll also send them out a thank you letter. We'll do all the little things that are solidifying that relationship for you. And then you can also do a Facebook paid advertisement within it has to be 25 miles for fair housing radius on what they're doing, but you could just advertise, I got another buyer, I got another buyer. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to find sellers. Why? Because we have exclusive rights to that buyer, just like we had exclusive rights to that seller. This is a bonanza for us if you leverage it. And if it gets approved, let's get it approved, please. The DOJ is not our friend. Okay. From our panel, are there any questions right now or thoughts that you'd like to share as we're moving forward? You'll be speaking for our group. Krista.
Yeah, I love this. And I have 5 listings right now. They weren't ready to sell until June, but we are doing what's called a private offering. So we're already doing a version of this, but I love the approach on using the buyer leverage to actually like just expand that whole opportunity. And then I had a question, James, because I thought I saw Ricky Carruth do a reel stating that it was approved by the DOJ, but maybe I misunderstood.
No, it's supposed to be approved by the court. This is the Missouri one. It's supposed to be approved by the court, and this is the settlement with NAR. And so the DOJ is not going to approve it, but they won a lawsuit in April that allows them to reinvestigate everything NAR is doing, and that there is some issues that they may stop the approval. And so we'll just have to see.
So can I ask a clarifying question then?
Yes.
Hopefully I'm not the only one that has this question. So when you say we're waiting for them to approve it, like what exactly is it keeping us from doing this now?
There is a specific negotiated settlement between NAR and the class action plaintiffs, which then will be approved as practice moving forward for the real estate agents. And it also removes liability for smaller brokers and real estate agents and those types of things. But there is a very specific settlement that then has to be approved by the courts.
And only if that's approved can we start doing this?
We can start doing this right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm still focusing on best house possible, best price. So we're going to market, and in these letters, we're going to emphasize that they can do it for 0 commissions to a listing agent. I'm wording that carefully. 0 commissions to a listing agent. Why? because I am representing the buyer. I'm not double ending. I have a fiduciary duty. Okay. So if you were someone who was trying to sell a home before and you get an opportunity at a real buyer, that might motivate you to pick up that telephone call. Now, if it doesn't sell, you can now negotiate and bring on a listing as a fiduciary and exclusive. For the buyer, this is very important. There is less pressure. You don't have that multiple offer. Oh my God, I got to drive the price. You can actually negotiate a deal. And so I can't promise Krista, my buyer, that I'm going to have these, but I am going to spend and invest a significant amount of money on your behalf to try and find you some of these deals. And best house price possible. I need to move this slide. That should be up on the public market. I already kind of covered this one. Okay. I want to make sure that agents protect me. Now, again, real estate agents, don't look at this as a real estate agent. Look at this as a client. Some of you are going to go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say that. We're saying things that your clients are going to want to do. So I'm going to negotiate escape clauses in the contract for you without a feeling of financial liability or loss of your deposit. So if we get in the contract, I'm going to have in there, if you have buyer's remorse the next day, I'll get you out of it. If I'm a buyer, does that feel good? What agent is telling people that? None. How many take advantage of it? Teeny amount. How many more clients do you get? I'm going to ensure that the property is in an acceptable condition. I'm ensuring the property is worth 100% or more of what you're paying. How can I ensure that? Does anybody know? Because you're getting it appraised, right? They don't necessarily know that, but here's the thing. I'm going to have an exit clause if you have buyer's remorse, and I say initial buyer's remorse. I'm not talking 28 days initial buyer's remorse. You have to specify those things. That it's an acceptable condition. You have inspection contingencies, right? This is already all in there. You have the appraisal contingency, but I'm just saying I'm going to ensure that it's worth 100%. I'm ensuring no financial risk if your loan doesn't go through, and I'm ensuring the property is free and clear of all encumbrances. I mean, this is what we're already doing. Why aren't we leveraging this information? I'll tell you why, because agents don't want people to know they can back out. We have a fiduciary to these people. The better we take care of them, the more business we're going to do. That's the way it works. Now, that's my strategy to get you the best house. This is my strategy to protect you from oversights. Now, I can't do all of this myself. I'm selling a lot of homes, so I've got a great team. If you're working with one agent, they can't do this. They can't have speed to market. They can't do this. I employ people to help take care of you in this. I also have a network of people that can help me. I've got legal support advice. In California, you have the what do they call it, Krista?
The car legal hotline.
Our legal hotline. My broker may have an attorney that's on retainer. I've got my broker. I've got my showing agent. I got my TC. I got my lender. I got my title company. I got all these people. And because I'm one of the top brokers in the area, these people bend over backwards for me. And I make sure they get the business because they do a great job. So here's my transaction coordinator. Here's my handyman. Here's my house cleaner that I recommend. Here's my preferred lender. Here's my marketing team. And then here's my showing agents, right? Now, in our brochure, we have these icons that says marketing team, staging team, whatever. I don't really think that that's the best way we can do this. I think that we should, when you guys are ready to get a new all-in-one, and when we do this presentation, we should have pictures of people with their names that shows the more real people that you have here, the more prestigious your business is going to look, the more prestige that they will see you in this higher level as a more successful person. And so we want to show them real faces, real people. And sometimes you have turnover. It's okay. You don't have to change out the brochure every single time. Every 6 months we update it, and then we'll rock and roll from there. Okay. So then I'm going, and my team is going to manage all of these things. And then all of these things. It's an endless list of little tiny things that we do for you so you don't have to think about it. We take care of it. We're going to hold your hand through the whole process. And then we're going to be there after the sale. So this first one here, legal access for advice. I was at a mastermind with some of the top agents in the country, top teams in the country. And there's a couple of agents that are buying prepaid legal services, which is $50 or $70 or something like that. So that's something that you can provide for. You can arrange to, if you wanted to, if you have a good real estate attorney that you work with, you could pay for the first hour if they needed an hour's consultation, something along those lines. That doesn't cost anything unless they use it. But I think this is powerful. Like, hey, if there's a problem, like what if the tenants don't get out of the house? Right? And we close. You can provide a home warranty on all the major compliances. You can provide trusted services, can promptly address any issues. And what I think is really great is I like to send a letter to all the neighbors and say, hey, this nice couple just moved in. They've got 3 kids. Their names are X, Y, and Z. They just moved in from Tennessee. And I'll send that out. And if you give me permission, I'm happy to do that. It greases the wheels for you to meet all of your neighbors. I mean, how cool is that, really? Right? And this is something that we can help arrange for you as we move forward. Some people aren't going to want to know that. I don't want to meet anybody. Okay, great. We won't do it. All right. But some people will. Okay. Now, I would want someone who's going to charge me a fair price. I have shopped my services, and I haven't found anybody who has the depth of services that I have and the combination of experience and the known reputation that I have. So these panelists, they all have incredible reputations in the market that they're at. And so if they write an offer, those offers are coming to the top of the line. That has real value, right? So I don't know anybody who's going to go this deep with the level of services that has my experience and my reputation. Yet my fee is very, very competitive. Okay, so this is the way that I have structured this to create some safety net for the client. My fee will be paid either by the listing agent or by the seller, or added to the price of the home so that there's no out-of-pocket expense. If this is not reasonable for some strange reason, I'll reduce my fee. So there should be a contract that says my fee is going to either be paid by the listing agent, it's going to be paid by the seller and reoccurring no closing costs. And in that negotiation, if we don't get the fee, then once we get it under contract, then we're going to go back and say, please raise the price by X% and increase the non-recurring closing costs. And the buyer should be in the contract. I'm not going to give you the language. You need to talk to your attorney, but the buyer should allow you to do that, okay, to get that fee. And then my fee for all of these services is 3.5% or 3%. or 2.5%, or 3.9%. I can't tell you what to put in here. If I was doing this, I think I would lean towards the initial higher rate. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I can negotiate it to close at the end. We are laying out a tremendous amount of value. Okay. If the negotiations with the selling agent to arrange my fee through escrow are not possible, I will reduce my fee to whatever is compensated by the seller's agent or the seller plus 1% from the buyer, or $5,000, which is ever more. So worst case scenario for that buyer, in this case, is a 1% or $500, which is ever more. So if the seller agrees, if I have a fee, hypothetically, I want to be really clear, I'm not telling you this is what you need to charge. I'm just saying hypothetically, if my commission is 3% and the seller agrees to pay 2%, and they won't do any more, they won't raise the price, they won't do any of that, then the buyer has to come in with that additional 1%. But the way that it's being presented is, hey, they are going to pay for it. And if they don't pay for it, out of pocket, the max will be 1%. From my viewpoint, that does not feel scary for most buyers. Now, I want these people to move forward with me in this presentation now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if I was in your shoes, Krista, I do not want to be stuck in a contract where someone's not performing. We've all hired contractors. We've hired professionals that don't deliver. We've all had that experience. We've hired technology companies that don't deliver and they don't care, right? And so what we want to do is, I don't want to have that feeling that I'm stuck. So because of that, I'm going to offer for you that we move forward. The first 10 days, you can cancel this agreement at any time. After that 10th day, you have to give me a 10-day notice to cancel. So I'm going to sign probably a 1-year agreement with their ability to cancel with a 10-day notice. So why can they cancel at any time? Because I want to be able to show them how amazing I'm going to be. They sign up, I start getting the letters right. Hey, I just pulled up 350 homes that meet your criteria in the Curtis Park area. We're going to mail them out tomorrow. Here's the letter that I'm sending. Like, I'm showing them, hey, let's set this appointment to go look at all these homes out here. Here's my lender. Boom, 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 boom. Once that happens, they're not going to cancel. But the ability to cancel at any time in the first 10 days, there's no risk moving forward. Why would you not execute the agreement now? Here's my resume. Just highlights. And I just would show them, I wouldn't say anything. Here's a couple of my testimonials. I'm not going to have them read them. I'm just going to show them. I got a bunch of them. Okay. That is the presentation. Let's have a brief discussion with our panel here on any things that they see, they like, and then we'll take questions from the chat. So, Mary Kay, Jennifer, Bill, Christy, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share? Mary Kay.
I think it's very important that we do deliver our value, because I don't think the buyers realize what we all do for them. So I'm in the process of trying to create that 80 or 100 things that we do for buyers. I think I sent it to you or Andrea from one of our last meetings. I would love to see, help with that, getting that created so that we can put it in our buyer consultation format.
Yeah, so we can take this presentation, we can put this into a document for you. All of those things that are at the end, I went through, I found a list of about 100 different things, but they were a little loosey-goosey. So I pulled up what I felt was solid. I have 2 full pages there. And so that's all there. But I also think walking through preparing them and giving them the big stuff really will emphasize the stuff that's most important. And then all the nickel and dime things, like here's all the little things that we're taking care of, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Agree.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Hey, James.
Yep.
Great information, and it's perfect timing because I'm actually revamping my buyer's presentation right now. But I think this is getting back to basics, and I think we've gotten lazy over the last 5-10 years. Internet people just looking online and not putting them in our cars and taking them to show houses. Like you said, the national average is 12 homes before they make an offer. Mine's 7. I know my numbers. I show them 7 houses, and that's my average.
Yep.
But all this stuff is basics, and we're just emphasizing it again.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly being able to articulate it. But we need to get them to commit themselves to us in a contract form.
Yes.
And again, that's why I wanted to make sure that we had this 10-day cancel anytime, and then that there was a delay for canceling, which I think makes it really safe for them to move in.
I have that on my listing contract either. I have 100% satisfaction guarantee on my listing contracts.
Yeah.
And it's a 10-day process. You know, they have to give me notice, and I have to be able to try to rectify the problem.
Right.
But I always tell them, if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you, and my reputation is too important. So let's part friends.
Right. That's exactly right. All right, Christopher, Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you for putting all this together, and I love it. And it's beautiful. I'm excited because I think we all knew that this was going to be an opportunity and not a roadblock for any of us. And so it's exciting. I see that you've just laid such a great groundwork. If we just lean into this, then it's just helping us maximize all of the opportunities. I love it. Thank you so much, James, for all the work.
Thank you, Krista. We will individualize this presentation for all of you. So just know that we have 700-800 partners. So it may take a little bit of time to get it in. We'll get with the PEs and have some forms filled out, but we will take this presentation. We'll put your information in it that is specific to you. We can change whatever your commission rate is going to be so you can utilize this document. We want you to use it. We think it's going to be very, very effective. Thank you, Krista. Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, James, what I really like about it is it takes some of the mystery out of what we do, and probably helps them understand a lot of things they're worried about that they don't even understand ahead of time. So I could see a lot of trust being built doing it this way, very similar to the listing presentation.
Thank you, Bill. All right, I'm going to jump into some questions here. We have one question. What if they know they are using cash and plan to waive the loan appraisal? Would you remove these? I think that in the presentation, I would have it said, but in the contract, I would say, I'm not providing this if you're not getting, not providing this protection if you're not getting an appraisal. But a cash buyer can still get it appraised and have the ability to potentially in their inspection periods be able to back out of that. Another question that came in, why would we even bring into the conversation that we would reduce our fee? I think that's a great question. One of the things is that I want to sign on as many potential good buyers as possible. So I'm not looking at this as a transactional process. I'm looking at this as what is the revenue that I generate for my business over a year's period of time. And so if I start at maybe a little over market, the general market. And the person says, Tommy down the street said he would do it for less. And then I could say, if I provided all these services, is he providing all these services? No. Okay, is my service worth more? Yes. How much more is it worth than Tommy's down the street? It's worth a quarter point more. Okay, if I do it for a quarter point more, would you want to do business with me? Yes. I'm going to sign the agreement right then. I'm going to bring him in, and now I have another buyer. So again, I'm focusing on going from 10 deals a year to 20 to 30 to 70 deals a year. And this is how I do it. Even though I have less value maybe or commission on that one deal, I can get referrals from that buyer. I can get second home purchases from that buyer, and I can get the listing when they turn around and sell. So I am building a business, and I'm looking at the whole, not as a transactional basis. The other thing is if they say, yeah, that sounds great, I only have to come up with 1%, I have the potential then of getting a higher amount, which then would, as a whole, if you look at the entire commission pool, I might get some that are a little over market, and then some down the way. Okay, there's a follow-up. We're being taught here in Oregon that we have to negotiate price already when the buyer's presentation. It is set. So what I'm saying is this is the price of the commission. However, I am willing to reduce it if the seller's not gonna pay it, or the listing agent is not sharing it. And so I'm not an attorney, but I am absolutely pretty darn sure that they will allow you to lower your price. And so I'm building in contingencies into that process. But check with your own attorney. But I'm pretty sure that that is legal. With the panel we have, do you guys see any issues with what I suggested? No? Okay. Very good. Okay, Sean said you cannot compensate more by the seller listing agent than what is on the buyer broker agreement. Again, I am saying if I said my commission is 3%, and they say that they're only going to do, I'm not doing more than what's on my agreement. So I'm giving flexibility to say, if they're offering, if I'm at 3.5%, hypothetically, if they're offering 3.5%, I'm going to be able to get that entire amount. But if not, I don't want to punish my buyer. I'm willing to reduce my fee so his out of pocket or her out of pocket is less. So I believe my services are worth 2.5 or 3 or 3.5, whatever it is. They agree to that amount if they agree to that amount. But if the seller and agent isn't going to do it, I'm going to reduce it so that their out of pocket is protected. Okay, so someone brought in here, also believe we're not able to negotiate up. I am not negotiating up. I'm starting at the top and negotiating down. Okay. Is a buyer marketing a service that we can add with our Fusion project manager? Buyer marketing service. William, we are absolutely going to build out this stuff and support some of these activities. We think we want all of you guys to grow businesses. And so, yes, we want to support those things. Drew Walter said NAR website has 105 values. That's great. I've gone through a lot of these things. And again, Mary Kay, I think that most of the good ones that make sense are on there. Marissa says, buyer objection to commission requests. How do you respond if the buyer says, if you can't negotiate your commission on the listing side and need me to pay you, how do I know you can negotiate the best deal? Well, I would say you don't know. But previous behavior and previous experience is an indication of future. Here's my resume. I've been in the business 10 years. I've been the top person in my office 23 months that I was here. It's in the top 1% nationally, or top 3, or top 10. And you hit on some of these things. And I would say to them, if you feel trepidation that I'm not the best person, then you shouldn't hire me. You should only hire me if you feel that I'm going to be the best person and work my butt off for you. Language regarding pre-appointment or negotiation will lower our commission percentage rate. Tina says, also, we are doing all the normal stuff you do in a transaction. Why would the other agent not be offering the same stuff? Well, Tina, I spent 3 or 4 days deeply thinking about how to articulate our values so that you guys don't have to, and put it in a way that is presentable and can articulate that value. And I don't know a lot of agents that take the time to think through things. They kind of gunsling. For our panel, you guys want to answer that? It says, if we're doing all the normal stuff, why would the other agent not be offering the same stuff? Anybody want to respond to that? Krista?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else attended BAMFest last week. It was just a really fun, seminar. And one of the speakers, I can't remember his name. I'm sure you probably know him, James. I bought his book, but he's the #1 RE/MAX agent, like year after year after year. And all he does is he beautifies everything that everyone already does, like we all do. He basically, this presentation exemplifies what he does for every appointment. Is he just paints a beautiful picture of the very mundane, everyday stuff that we do, because nobody does that. And so that alone, just your ability to articulate what you do, will cause you to stand out. Agents don't even call me when they send me an offer to tell me they've sent an offer, let alone ask what's the motivation of the seller. So it's really not hard to stand out as a realtor. And that's the weird thing. You think this is common sense that everybody would be doing this, but they don't.
Yeah, it's very few people prep and show up and practice and do the things. This is what we talk about. The reason people have growth challenges, they don't execute the fundamentals. And this is across the board the biggest issue. And you have to articulate it, and you have to have a way of articulating. And that's what we've created for you. You are licensed, as long as you are with Fusion, to use this presentation. Personalize it. We'll do it for you. We'll do all the other stuff for you as well. There's a question here. Do you think we have to allow our clients to cancel a contract at any time during the process, as long as they give notice? I think you mentioned only an initial phase. I say they can cancel at any time for the first 10 days, because I want them to feel safe to move forward. Then they get to know me. They get to know how hard I work. They can see that I'm promising the work that I'm doing. And then there needs to be a phase later on, because what I don't want is them to have a listing agent that says, I'll do it for 1%, and try and have some contract interference with us. So there'd be a 10-day. And you do not have to give them a time period to cancel. You could sign them up for 1 year, and they would be obligated to stay inside that agreement contractually. Okay, John Andrews, has anyone floated the idea of just leaving NAR? I think that the rules here are set up for you not to be sued, and it will become a part of case law. And so I'm not an attorney there, but I don't think that protects you. I've sold several homes the last 2 years using buyer and off-market seller strategy. Am I losing opportunity to get a listing from this person in 2 transactions instead of 1? I don't know your current marketplace, but I think that if I am getting a contract for my buyers to exclusively represent them, if they buy, I would probably not be double ending that listing. However, if they don't buy that home, then I'm going to try and get the listing from that person who raised their hands.
Did you see Gabriella's question? We are being taught that we cannot imply that the seller is going to pay our commission.
Well, I'm not saying, I'm saying that they either will or that they'll go to Alarwa. And I would say that if you're saying they are going to pay your commission without finishing the sentence, that's implying that they're going to pay it. So I would agree. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying I am going to negotiate for the listing agent to do it or the seller to do it through non-reoccurring closing costs. And if we cannot negotiate that, then you're going to pay me 1% out of pocket. Now, you can check with your attorney, but I believe that's going to be very legal, and I also see it as very ethical. Okay, I think that covers our presentation. Krista, Bill, Jennifer, do you have anything that you guys would like to add at the end? Thank you so much on short notice of coming in here and hanging out with me so I wasn't talking to a wall. I appreciate that and the feedback.
Just one thing, the people that put processes into place like this will be successful. So find something, use this. This is great information. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Jennifer.
James, I use the listing presentation at every appointment, and really when you get into that point when you're talking about your ideas of what makes a good agent and you're going through all that, that is such an engaging process. And I think this is a really good way to engage the buyer as well.
Yeah. And you go on a lot of listings. I think I saw that you had 18 live listings on March. Is that right?
Right now we have, I think, 63 active on MLS right now. I go on between 4 and 8 appointments a week.
Okay. So thank you for the endorsement. So Bill has got 63 live listings and he uses the listing presentation. This buyer presentation mirrors that presentation and it is engaging. Thank you for that, Bill. Kristen, you have the last word.
Okay, well, it's kind of a question, but you're probably already on this. Will there be specific letter campaigns and postcards that will add to our printed, campaigns around these types of?
Yes. So this is a big deal. We still have 181 people that are in here. Okay. So this is the letter. Welcome back. That I have written that is going to go out. It says, my name is Gavin Bree. I exclusively represent a professional individual looking to buy a home in your specific neighborhood. They desire a home between 2,000 square feet and 2,500 square feet with 4 bedrooms and more than 2 bathrooms. According to the tax records, your home at 123 Main Street is 2,235 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. If you have any inkling about selling your home now or in the near future, I really would appreciate an opportunity to talk. Selling your home in a private sale may be an opportunity to sell the home with 0 commission to, that should say listing agent, apologize for that, to a listing agent if you represent yourself. And you can also potentially sell your home as is without the regular type of cleanup and fix up most sellers go through before putting on the market. You could save tens of thousands of dollars. I think that's a compelling letter. Just simple and short. And then it's got your picture on down at the bottom. Then in the all-in-one, we will rebuild your all-in-one so that you can send this out. And we have our mission. We have the buyer services that will be in there. We have the resume. We have the story. We have the team. And that the commission rates are negotiable. And for me, the reason why I want to put that on there, if someone would want to know why I wouldn't want to put that on there, that I do want to put that on there, because I want the opportunity to negotiate. I will be able to justify my value. But if they think that they're not negotiable, I may not get a seat at the table. And if I can get to the kitchen table 7, 8 out of 10, I probably am going to get that agreement. If I don't get to the kitchen table, there's no chance I'm going to get that business. The marketing's purpose is to get you to the kitchen table. Okay. I hope this was worthwhile for everybody. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be effective. I want to encourage people to use what we've put together. It's going to be effective. You have to practice it and role play it. We may spend a little bit of time in one of our coaching sessions that we're having now to talk through this. Come to the coaching stuff that we have, and you can ask more questions on this. On anything about commissions, if you're concerned about it, please check with your attorney. But I believe, based upon the settlement that I have read, that if you have a price, you set that high price, and then you'll be able to lower that price based upon contingencies. And I do believe that is legal. I certainly believe that it is ethical and moral as well. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thanks for being here, especially to my panel of these wonderful top producers. And we will see you at the next coaching call, which will be in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.